Burkina Faso, long known for its gold and political resilience, is now cultivating a new type of wealth, food sovereignty. And at the center of this new vision is a crop that grows deep into African soil, the yam. Yam is more than just food in Burkina Faso. It's culture, identity, and resistance. That changed when Captain Ibrahim Traoré took power and declared, "We must stop importing what we can grow, and we must export what we grow with pride." In villages like Tibel and Zorgo, yam festivals are held yearly to celebrate harvests and thank the ancestors. For centuries, it was a quiet companion of rural survival. Now, it's leading a national transformation. Until recently, yam was consumed and forgotten, never stored, never processed, and certainly never exported. Traoré's government launched the Yam for Export program, YP, with urgency and strategic clarity. He saw agriculture not just as a food source, but as a weapon of economic freedom. The YP focused on three bold objectives. Mass production. Over 60,000 hectares of land were allocated for intensive yam cultivation. And that surplus sparked a dream. What if we could feed not just ourselves, but the world? All yam products now bear the proudly Burkinabe certification, complete with origin tracking QR codes. This builds trust in foreign markets and discourages counterfeiting. Special green zones were marked across regions with optimal soil pH and water access. Modern techniques. Farmers receive drip irrigation kits, fungal-resistant yam seed varieties, and soil nutrition training through village field schools. Export readiness. Warehouses, solar drying centers, and quality labs were established in 12 key districts. New yam cooperatives like Les Braves Agriculteurs in Tinkadogo began receiving government grants. Unlike traditional cash crops that leave Africa unprocessed, yam is being transformed at every stage of its journey, from the ground to the shelf. In Didougou, women-led associations partnered with local universities to test post-harvest treatments that extend yam shelf life to over 9 months, critical for export. By the end of 2024, Burkina Faso had moved from basic subsistence to surplus. Burkina Faso is not making the mistake of simply exporting raw yam. State-of-the-art agro-processing plants now the country. In Zinier, a women-run facility produces yam flour packaged for gluten-free bakeries in Europe. In Banfora, a youth-led startup dehydrates yam and exports it to Lebanese buyers who use it as a potato substitute during Ramadan. What's more impressive is the country's commitment to branding. Farmers now collaborate with engineers and designers. Packaging isn't just functional, it tells a story. One brand, Yam Legacy, includes quotes from Burkinabe elders on every box. Trade partnerships are opening up fast. France, supermarkets in Paris with large African communities are pre-ordering frozen yam. Canada, Burkinabe Canadian communities in Montreal have signed group buying agreements. Senegal and Benin, regional distribution centers are being set up under ECOWAS. Qatar, talks are underway for dried yam powder exports. His vision is that every public franc should grow a root. Even logistics is being innovated. A mobile app called TuberTech helps farmers and exporters match transport schedules, track humidity and packaging, and get real-time prices. This is no longer agriculture. It's agribusiness. Yam is lifting rural Burkina Faso like never before. In Bokiemd, a 19-year-old farmer named Karim doubled his harvest after switching to modern ridge planting methods taught in the government training. "Before, I made enough to eat. Now, I make enough to save," he says. In January 2025, Burkina Faso hosted the first West African Yam Export Summit, calling on Ghana, Togo, and Nigeria to create a shared tuber trade corridor. Over 48,000 direct jobs and 60,000 plus indirect jobs have now been created, from packaging line workers in Didougou to cold chain truck drivers in Fada and Gourma. Banking access is exploding. Mobile money agents are now present in 92% of yam-producing communes. Youths who once dreamed of Europe are now CEOs of export cooperatives. For women, the transformation is especially powerful. A national campaign called Tubers for Tomorrow provides land titles to female-led farms. In rural Wahigea, 63-year-old Fatimata now employs 17 people in her processing center. "Yam gave me a second life," she says. The government has even begun issuing agri-certificates. a new form of land-based microcollateral that allows rural farmers to access small loans using their verified crop output as security. Yam is doing what foreign loans never could, lifting communities from within. Traoré's agricultural policy is not just a plan, it's a philosophy. From day one, he cut his presidential food budget by 40% and redirected it towards school feeding programs using only local yam, maize, and millet. Policies driving the transformation include the Rural Revival Act, 2024 15-year tax breaks for agribusiness startups, Land to the Hands Law, simplifies land title registration for farmers, digital farmer IDs. Every yam producer is now biometrically registered, allowing them to access credit, insurance, and government grants through their phones. Beyond national policy, Traoré is building Pan-African alliances. Radio programs educate rural farmers on export standards. School children volunteer during harvest festivals. In Ghana to create the Yam Export Free Trade Belt, a tariff-free corridor that simplifies yam movement from farm to sea. Religious leaders bless yam trucks before they cross borders. Discussions are underway for a West African yam exchange, modeled after global commodity markets, where prices, contracts, and logistics are standardized across the subregion. Traoré's message is clear. Africa must feed itself, then feed the world. Agronomists from Bobo Dioulasso have been sent to train farmers in Mali's Sikasso region. Every revolution faces resistance, and the yam export plan is no exception. Burkina Faso must navigate sanitary restrictions from the EU and North America, currency volatility and trade financing issues, rising fertilizer prices due to global conflict, climate change reducing rainfall in some regions. But solutions are already underway. Rain-fed farming insurance is being offered in partnership with Morocco and Kenya. No longer the continent of charity, but of agri-capital, of food power. We are wealth. We are Burkinabe. Burkina Faso joined a Pan-African organic certification scheme to reduce EU trade barriers. Solar-powered cold storage is being deployed via a $10 million Green Sovereignty Fund loan. More importantly, the people are united. Yam is not just a crop, it is a national project. Burkina Faso's yam strategy is gaining traction across Africa. In February 2025, a historic agreement was signed between Burkina Faso, Togo, with Ghana's ports and Burkina Faso's production power. The alliance has sparked regional excitement. Nigeria, Africa's largest yam producer, has also taken note. Burkina Faso is already helping smaller nations like Liberia and Sierra Leone replicate its post-harvest success. What started as a national movement is now becoming a continental force. Burkina Faso's yam story is more than national. It's a mirror to the continent. If a landlocked, low-income nation with decades of instability can rise through its soil, what's stopping the rest of Africa? The yam export model proves. African food can meet international standards. Smallholder farmers can build big businesses. Local crops can fuel global trade, not just cocoa, coffee, or gold. This is Africa rewriting the rules. And as more African nations prioritize land over loans, crops over contracts, we are witnessing a quiet revolution that could end hunger, rebuild economies, and restore dignity. The future of African exports is not just oil, lithium, or cobalt. It is food. Real, indigenous, sustainable food. In classrooms, children now recite, "We are Yam." In Parliament, leaders cite Yam statistics with pride, not foreign aid reports. And in international trade fairs, Burkina Faso is no longer a question mark. It is a case study. The journey of Yam has become the journey of a people, from survival to strength, from overlooked to overachieving. To African youth, let Yam remind you that everything you need might already be in your hands or in your land. To the global South, let this be proof that we can trade amongst ourselves, with pride, with purpose. To the West, Burkina Faso doesn't want pity. It wants partnership. And to the world, the Yam is coming. This is AfricVibe News. And this is the story of how a tuber became a triumph.